This is the centerpiece of my collection. Welcome to the Neptune Discovery Base. This is a creation made by Mockist Peter Carmichael, but you might know him online as Pacific Brick. He displayed this at BrickCon 2019, which is one of the world's largest LEGO conventions. And when I saw it pop up for sale afterwards, I simply couldn't pass up the chance to have this masterpiece be at home in my collection. What's really cool about this is that it's actually based off of an original LEGO set. This up here is the Neptune Discovery Lab from the underwater sub-theme Aquazone in the late 1980s. You can see how the design influence of the yellow and trans blue translated all the way over to this massive sculpture over here. What's really cool is that there's all sorts of details scattered throughout. There's a whole monorail track, of course, wrapping around the entire base, and if you zoom in, there's all sorts of flora and fauna littering the seafloor. And so, without further ado, let's dive in and take a look. One of the crucial details here is the monorail. You can see it going through a kind of docking bay over there, and if we zoom out and go around the whole model, you can see the track continue along in a circle with some sea life included as well. This is obviously a custom monorail design, but it reuses basically the standard monorail parts, which I have the other LEGO set monorails displayed up here with the Futuron and Unitron monorails, and the airport monorail displayed all the way up there. Right over here we can see the oil derrick pumping back and forth, and this is controlled with a very simple power functions motor kind of hidden right here. You can see a bit of a gap to access it. But that goes back and forth and just kind of makes the scene feel just that bit more alive. I have temporarily shut off the motorized bits like this hammer here and the monorail, of course, just to reduce the noise level of this video, but hopefully you'll be able to see all sorts of details here, and I think that the best place to start is probably the monorail itself. Of course, LEGO actually never made a yellow monorail, and all the monorail bases that they did were either red or white, so it's really nicely done how the builder covered up the white build of the monorail engine here and really just made it a blocky chunk of its own to display here. So this is done really nicely, and I love the shaping of how this is built. The lights in the front light up, of course, and even the way that the gun is built on the back going all the way around here. You can see that this is built really interestingly with having a harpoon kind of stick out of these 1x3 tiles. So a very nice thing to get, and built very interestingly as well, because it doesn't use the standard monorail base. It's a very much customized brick-built base for the monorail. So something really nice to see. And of course, it evokes the color scheme of the classic Neptune Discovery Lab, which you can see right here in all of its glory. You can see that it really just sticks very well to what the color scheme is supposed to be. So that's something I think is really cool. Moving on, there's all sorts of kind of mini dioramas scattered throughout this whole build where you can kind of just see all sorts of details if you look really closely inwards. See, for example, over here, if we duck down in the middle here, you can see a group of hydronauts cornering an aqua shark behind the foliage right there. You can see him right there. And you can also see all sorts of animals kind of scattered throughout this build as well. And I've actually added a ton more of my own animals, like the newest Manta Rays from the deep sea diving sets. I really like this new piece, and it kind of just gives you some variety as compared to the older Manta Ray piece, which quite frankly, while it is an iconic and cool piece, it doesn't really look that much like LEGO if you look at it just like this. So I do like the upgrade that they did here. And of course you can see some of the other creatures here, like the hammerhead shark being clawed by the submarine here, which is a very unique looking build for a sub. And the other thing that I really like about this, talking about the vehicles, is just how unique they all look. So if you kind of take a look at this one, just look at the aesthetics of this. I really appreciate how this is built. There's kind of a ladder to get onto it, and it very much looks like a kind of platform that would make sense kind of going alongside this underwater journey here. So this is something that I think is really, really cool. Honestly, one of my favorite pieces about it is just all the details you can see here, and even the LEGO dice pieces used to kind of haul cargo in. That's really unique, I think. And of course, we have kind of an airlock here that leads all the way in towards one of the command posts, which I do appreciate the detail that's been put in. Even in the interior here, you can see some command stuff done in the middle. And then of course you have this whole system of having these very unique LEGO pieces that are very rare and really hard to find. You can really see how they've been put to great use in the forming the shaping here. And you've got some sea creatures kind of hiding in these upper flaps. And the other cool thing is that these flaps are actually the massive door pieces from the original Neptune Lab. It's just really been used to very great effect here as kind of vents. And they've even used some of the construction pieces like the mace pieces as tips of plants, which is something I really do appreciate and looks really cool. And then moving on over here, you can see all sorts of creatures swimming around. I actually did add the new creator shark, or I guess that's a year old now, but it was a very unique looking creator shark build that looks pretty realistic, but just larger scaled compared to minifigs. And given the amount of fantasy-like creatures, I felt that it would fit right in as a massive shark creature, given that you're kind of at the bottom of the ocean floor here. And look at this. They used the Ninjago movie collectible minifigure kind of cape pieces as sea life. That is such a unique build. I love this plant right here. And there's all sorts of kind of funny looking stuff around here too, like the shark eating the friend's whale, and then you've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crocodile facing off against a robot shark here. So all sorts of kind of funny details which you can see. And I've also kind of placed in some of my own stuff from the Atlantis sets in particular. You can see these two are from the Atlantis sets. If we remove this guy here, there's another unique plant kind of in here, and there's a very terrified diver facing off against them. So that's something I do like kind of adding into here, just kind of making it my own. Moving up to this top area right here, you can see that the builder used the flex tubes to kind of showcase the dolphins near the top or the upper parts of the water. Again, another really cool way to use the pieces, and there's all sorts of different Lego dolphins, so it makes a lot of sense to use there. I've also included a Lego Friends baby dolphin piece right here, which I do feel fits right in with the rest of the dolphins. And of course, this I've actually added myself. It is from the Aqua Raiders line, and this kind of wraps around the whole crane. I think it's really cool. And I've also kind of put a CCBS Nui Jaga mock on top of there because it does kind of make sense within the whole underwater realm, I think. So that one fits in well. But otherwise, if he wasn't up there, this crane could slide back and forth and have this go up and down and kind of grab certain things. So I really like the large crane here. That's just a really massive part that sticks out of this whole base. And of course, this evokes the large crane that was mounted on the top of the original Neptune Discovery Lab, which you can see right here. So really nice to get. This is another really interesting part. And actually, if we go around, there's a way that I can turn it on, and he's actually put in a lot of unique lighting into here. So you can see a power functions battery box there. Let me just see if I can kind of sneak around there. Yep, there we go. Going around the front here, you can see that all of the lights are completely lit up there. It's kind of like a server farm underwater, which I think is really cool. And just an added touch of detail that really wasn't needed to be put in here, but just looks really good on display and kind of just makes it all feel alive. And then let's just go around here. I will shut that thing off just to conserve the battery. And then over here on this other side, you have a completely separate docking bay for the monorail to kind of go inside and to ferry passengers towards the inside of the whole base. You can see that the interior is there. There's not too much going on in the interior, but that's totally understandable because you're not going to be able to get in there anyway. So it kind of makes sense that only the pieces that you can see are fully visible. And over here, you also have this kind of gun piece that's mounted up front that can be angled up and down. I have it currently trying to shoot off the squid that is attacking the tower there. So you can kind of do all sorts of really fun things in terms of playing around with this. And again, just so many details. There's yet another kind of underwater vehicle here that you can see, kind of just a very unique build for that. Ton of sharks, which can be seen there, and another just unique plant that's using flex tubes to kind of branch outwards. So all sorts of really nice stuff here. You can see some SpongeBob characters kind of snuck into the side there. And even over here, there's just some tentacles emerging from a hole. And I think that's just such a unique build to kind of hint at another creature that's underneath the rock there, but you just can see barely the tentacles creeping out. So really cool to see. Moving along here, just all sorts of beautiful plant-like sculptures and all sorts of different underwater sea life that kind of goes around this whole area. And overall, I'm just really pleased with how this turned out. As a display piece, it is one of the things I'm most proud of having in my collection, and probably my favorite display model that I have in my entire collection. So it truly is the centerpiece of my collection here, and I've even kind of tried to make it my own. As I mentioned before, some more Atlantis creatures like that, a custom CCBS revamp of the Nui Jaga, which is up there kind of pretending to be a sea creature. You can see the original Nui Jaga all the way over there. So all sorts of kind of fun details here. And now I'll just kind of let a slideshow play or a quick video play and showcase all of the unique details, and I'll just let you enjoy the scenery. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Duck Bricks. I hope you enjoyed this awesome look at my favorite Lego display model in my collection. And stay tuned to Duck Bricks for even more Lego news, reviews, collection showcases, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye for now.